Hey guys, this is just kind of a test. I was going to sit down and do some recording for the mod along, but my wife is out of town and she took the camera with her, and so I'm left to my own devices. So I currently have my phone strapped to my camera boom using hair scrunchies, and my accelerometer doesn't work, so it looks like my image is crooked. It's showing portrait when it should be landscape, but okay. Is this bothering you? Because I'm not sure how to go about changing it. Does it give me an option, or is this just going to look at the ceiling? Yep, that's a ceiling. Okay, well, forget that then. Huh. Okay. Well, screw that then. I guess the main thing I was going to work on here, I'm waiting on parts for the Centaur. Was going to work on this week, but I can't find any DevCon locally right now, and I don't feel like shipping any in, so I will not be as productive with that as I was hoping this week. So instead, I was just going to kind of poke around on a little tiny project, which I've got this double strike that I picked up a while back. That finally, I've been looking to get one for a while, but I didn't want to lay out the $10, so I was able to thrift one, and I was pretty impressed. Except for it's got the dopey little grip, and the darts hang out the barrel, and I thought, it's got potential. It could be cool. So when we find things that are kind of cool but not quite cool enough, we cut them up. So my plan is, I went through my parts box and dug out a bunch of stuff, and I'm thinking we're going to extend the barrel using this bits and pieces from a Reflex. And if you line up the rails, see if I can get that to show up on the screen. My stream is a little behind, so bear with me as I kind of look over here and verify on the tablet to see what's going on. But if you line up the rails, then aesthetically, I think it kind of works. We'll need to shorten it up a little bit, and I'm thinking shorten it up to where it's just a hair longer than the darts that stick out. That way you get that nice kind of flush feel when you shove the darts in. And because it is only going to cover up, just to this line, and it's going to be open on the bottom, I figured we can take the, I guess, call it core, base, whatever you want to call it, of this thing, and basically flip it around to where it'll be upside down, so you have a nice finished edge here and some kind of cool little details. And then we'll stick that on top, and I figure we'll set the bottom back just a little bit to give it a little attitude. And not sure where exactly it's going to fit here, but if you kind of use your imagination and you kind of I don't know, like, how's that lining up? Anyway, it looks cool in my head, and that's kind of where things start. And then to address the grip, I dug through all of my pieces parts, and I settled on a Knife Finder grip, and I think we can squeeze it in there if we kind of line it up. At least that's kind of what we're going to aim at. We'll wait and see. I'm not sure if we can just cut the grip off and replace it with this, or if we'll have to kind of trim it out. Very quiet. RZ Rider, do I need to speak up? How about everybody else? Hi, hello, love this guy. Same to you, friend. Otherwise, seems to be working. Okay, cool. All right. Can anybody else verify volume? Am I too quiet for everybody else? Okay. Anybody watching? Okay. So, I think for starters, I think we'll, seems good. Mr. Nerf Seeker, alright. If it's good for you, it's good for me. So, I guess we really need to kind of rough things out. For one thing, let's start with, I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for. So I think, let's start with removing the majority of the Reflex here so we can kind of start fitting pieces together. I think we'll trim the bottom. You live boy? You're darn right. we'll trim the bottom off of this and then trim the flat part out of here so we can kind of start sliding things together and seeing just kind of how everybody fits together, and then we'll start working on fitting those onto the double strike. So that means we get out our safety glasses because we're safe, and not those ones, we get these ones, the ones we can see out of, and it's going to be a little Dremel time, so headphone users, etc., it's going to get loud. All right. Get the rest of this slag, so to speak, out of the way. Okay, so at least for right now, we have this guy, which he's going to need to get shortened up significantly. But let's kind of double check our fit and feel here. Okay, so it's going that way, that way. Okay, so it's that way. That goes like that. Let's get these little buttons out of the way. Okay, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Trying to eyeball on the other screen, make sure we're actually lining up right. don't know how awesome this is going to be, but it can't be any worse than it was before. So, let's see. So we got this guy's going to come up this far. Let's take this little top off the barrel here, just so we can kind of start lining things up this way, and we'll start trimming back on this and get that to where the rails line up nice, and then get the barrel length figured out, and then we can fit the bottom part up inside. So, yeah, let's get that guy out of there. Okay, immediate concern right now is I'm going to be, encroaching on this area here. So you look and see what our options are for screw ports. See, this is going to be over here. So we're going to be getting awful close to this one here. And at the same time, we've got this one here. But I think we might be losing this one on the end, so we might, may have to get creative here. Let's, actually, you know what? Looking at it, kind of sighting along here, it looks like this screw shows up in the middle of the slide, so to speak, for the rail. So I'm hoping that once you line those up, we should just be able to essentially, well, crap. Bring this guy up here. And yeah, we'll have to, that's going to take some kind of crazy cutting and splicing in order to get the rails to line up and be able to use this screw port here, but I kind of need to keep that screw port because we don't have any others to really fall back on. So once we get this one on here, then I believe the barrel is going to get in the way of this screw port here. So, well, I guess we can look into starting to creep back and cutting on this, which is kind of too bad because you got this kind of cool panel detail. It would be nice to maintain, but it's hard to justify a barrel that's that much too long. So, I don't think we can get away with cutting back on this area, although... no. I was going to say we might be able to trim back on just the external stuff here and slide this back into it, but I think that's going to... yeah, that'll leave us with just kind of an awkward space here, and that would kind of take away some of the structural integrity here. So, let's get the Dremel back out. And just going to kind of, see, we need to take this back to, looking at the length, I want that just right behind or just ahead of the dart. So I think for starters, I think I'll cut it at this break where this panel line breaks up this way, so I think we'll just trim it off right about there. I'm going to verify one more time, that's there. Cut it, that'll be too long. Okay, cut it a little long, we can trim it back a little later. No sound. I think that must be on your end, man. I guess also I am thinking, and so apparently my phone camera is not as sensitive as the camera, or phone microphone than the camera. So, sound's not going to matter right now, though. Okay. All right. Now, I think this rail is really bothering me a lot more than I expected it to, and it's just because of that screw port right there. So, let's kind of get an eyeball there. Yeah, this is the same width here all the way through, and it's not like we're going to be adding attachments to this necessarily. I mean, I can't think of anything I'd put on it, but it's nice to have the kind of continuing aesthetics, you know, so it looks all in one piece. It will really help tie the two shells together, whereas if we just cut the rail off entirely here and stuck it on there, then you'd have a real solid line, and it would really exaggerate the fact that you have a blaster with pieces of something else stuck to it. So anytime you can take whether a body line or like the rail and tie it together, it kind of helps trick the eye. In fact, oh, okay, wow. Okay, I'm just making an observation here. If I line up the rails, again, this is still too long, but this little body line here where it drops down, then where it picks back up, it looks like it'll run into the bottom of this line here, so you'll have kind of a cohesive detail here. And I think once we trim this off a little bit more, even this panel line will blend into this body line here, so that's kind of a bonus. But the main problem still is the rail thing. And what I'm thinking about, I had a marker around here once. Do I have a marker? We'll have to settle for this one. What we have is, I think I'm going to take this rail piece and kind of wrap it around this guy here. So instead of like cutting the rail off flush and like button them together, it's I think I'm going to basically cut out the center area, the vertical portion of the rail, of the clamping surface. So you'll have kind of this floating wing hanging out. And then we'll end up kind of reattaching it to this piece here. So basically we'll remove this portion of this thing and kind of lap it over, I guess. This is me talking with a question mark, because I don't know how this ends or how to do it. So, in the interest of proper fitment, I think I'll make that cut right now so we can find out right away if it's going to not work. Because I hate surprises later on. Okay. This might work. Hoping it'll work. I'm trimming on this. Let's see, looking at the chat, seeing what's up. Hi, hi, and hi. Admire your work, Michael Nerf Mods. Well, thanks, and I appreciate your viewership. It really means a lot to me that you people watch my stuff. because I'll tell you, just editing my own stuff is so painfully boring that I can only imagine what it's like for you guys to have to watch it. But the stuff that I do, then let's see what else we got here. Baron thing. Whoa, I died. Uh-huh. Did I die? Where are we at? Come back. Oh. Did I lose everybody? Am I back? Okay. Okay, I think I dropped everybody for a minute. I don't know what happened.